Okay, schon mal nachher Nesanel Gantz.
Yakov Yosef.
Yakov Yosef, was that in Yiddish?
English.
Was that in Yiddish?
It's okay.
Tell me about your company. What's your company name?
So we supply hardware and paint. We're based out of main locations in Monsey. We have locations in Clifton, New Jersey, then in Pomona, New York. We hope to add more locations.
How many people work in your company?
25 people.
25 people. Let's slow down. So you have a real festa company. Tell me about your background. When did you start your company?
2012.
What's your history beforehand?
I worked for a paint.
You look like 36, right? You're like 36 years old, no?
No, I'm almost 50.
Almost 50, okay. So deceiving. Tell me about your background working. What's your parnassa? When you start working, what was your first job you ever did?
I was looking for a job, and it was a long story that I got into a paint factory. Was looking for someone to help them build up. And I worked for the paint factory for 13 years.
Yeah.
Then I decided to go on my own. I bought a small hardware store, which was a lemon.
Really?
And I poured in some sugar to make lemonade out of it.
What did you do for the paint factory?
I did everything,
You're like a manager type of a thing.
Whatever, yeah, whatever needed.
Interesting.
I came in as a bookkeeper where
I find it so interesting when you have someone like yourself that works in a company, an industry you had no shaykhs with, and took that idea of paint, it could be anything random, and almost it's your parnassa today. So that's very cool. I want to get into that in a second. How did that happen? So you're 13 years you're working there, and then you bought a hardware store. Where was the hardware store?
In Haverstraw, New York.
Still there now? Sure.
No.
It was gone. And then you were struggling. How old are you? When did this happen? How many years ago?
I was 38 when that happened.
38, around 13 years ago, let's assume. It's a great example because I always tell people, when someone's in that age, upper 30s, 40s, that's a real crucial time in someone's life, right? Because they have, how many kids do you have? You married kids? How many kids do you have? Canada? Over 10, okay? So when you had the kids, and it's hard to, more kids, more tuition, more balancing, you have to make money, so you're struggling. It's much harder, people talk about the young entrepreneur, it's much harder for the middle-aged guy to now reinvent himself than to start again, right? So I want to hear that. You have it, you took, obviously it was hard, you started your own business, and it was failing. How did you start your company? I'm so curious. How did you do it? What did you do?
I worked.
No, how did you start your business? How did the idea come from to start your business that you do now?
I was looking for a business that I could afford to buy. I bought a business. And
what did that business do? Which is the same name you call today, right? I'm assuming?
No.
You rebranded?
Yes.
Okay. So what did the business do when you bought it?
How much?
What was it doing? What was it doing, that business?
A local hardware store.
I'm sorry, forgive me. The hardware store was failing. You said you weren't making business, right? And now you have to find a new parnassa. So what do you do after the hardware store was failing?
No, I took the hardware store and went around to industrials, to bigger property managers, and started selling to them.
Oh, so you did well with that?
Yes, but my backdoor did very well.
Ah, okay. And that, I guess, segued into your business today.
Yes.
Explain it to me. How did that happen?
So it was an area that I didn't want to stay really. It's a crime area. I didn't feel comfortable bringing my kids and to help me over there. So I found a spot in Monsey. I moved it to the back of a building and started selling out of that back. And slowly we grew into...
You literally were selling paint?
No, hardware and paint.
Paint. Okay. Let's fast forward today. What does your business do today? What does your business do today?
Sell hardware and paint.
On a grander scale. Do you have a store? Do you have a physical location?
We have 3 locations.
And it's mostly a showroom?
Showroom plus a mixing area where you mix the colors, you make the colors, you consult with colors.
Do you is it also for us that like anyone walking on the street?
Anyone on the street walks in there. Monsey's is a very big massive, and Passaic and Clifton is still a little bit of not such a big community, but we're growing over there as well.
So essentially you really built brick-and-mortar stores in these days. Where's your money is mostly in walk-ins or bigger clients?
No, 70% is deliveries or construction people, and 30% is walk-ins.
So I find this fascinating. I happen to work at top of a hardware store in Bar Park. I'm not gonna say the name. And I find that there's a lot of hardware stores out there. Where on 18th Avenue, 2 hardware stores. To take a hardware store and basically service so many people, that's a chachma. How did we have to take it from a store to like a real business? How did you grow that out there? How did you do that? Siyata Shmaya is a good answer.
I think one of my biggest things is that I treat people fairly nice. People work for me, have an opportunity to grow with me.
What does that mean?
That everybody who works for me is not just... I was an employee for 13 years. I know exactly what an employee of the mashgiach, and they don't get what they mashbucha. I don't pay my employees for how many kids they have. I pay my employees what a businessman. They help the business out.
You play because they're a good worker.
Yes.
You take care of them. It's interesting. People don't recognize that. I always say, somebody was told me recently about, like, a guy says, I didn't get a raise in a year. Okay, who cares, right? But it's not shame. The guy's doing a good job for you and he's increasing your bottom line. Do you have salespeople that go out and try to bring in new accounts?
So I have some, but I'm looking. We're looking for that. I go around a lot, selling myself.
I love what you do. I mean, you literally have 3 hardware stores, right? Bisman is that everyone's talking about an online business where they're trying to meet someone else. The fact that you can have a store, people go walking on this thing, and you could still, service people inside is incredible. What would be your advice to someone in your position? It could be a hardware store, any business. It's a brick and mortar store. They're still trying to make it, and they're struggling. They're afraid the online. Do you do online sales a lot?
Not really.
Not really. So that's exactly what I'm not saying. Hopefully you do it, make millions. But I wanted to hear that you don't do that, because it's interesting that people still today can still make money. What would be your advice to someone who's in that field like you, has a store, and they're having a tough end?
So it's a lot about. I specialize over my competition. And by us, everybody who works for me, especially in paint, is very knowledgeable, educated on all their...
It's so interesting because you would think, people think of Home Depot, like, I'm assuming prices are the same more or less in your business anywhere else.
So surprisingly, we could be some things. Home Depot has their lost leaders where no one could touch because they want to bring you in. But on an overall, if someone matches the yearly expense with us in Home Depot, we always come across even better priced. I hire part-time handymans that know when you walk in with a problem, they know what you need, so they help you out very nicely.
You said you're looking to expand. You would open up another location, in theory?
Yes.
It's amazing that 2022 you're still looking to expand the brick and mortar. I find that so amazing that everything people think is online, but is it possible that a hands-on business, people want hands-on, like maybe like they feel intimate, connected with what they're buying personally?
So one of my managers is always telling me that his old business is basically helping services grow. No one comes in and he wants a chocolate because he's in a good mood. My toilet is broken, my light is not working. Right. So they're here to help people with problems. So that's what...
I'll tell you, because like paint I understand. But if I wanted to buy a hammer, I'm telling you I'm going on Amazon, okay? So how do you build with that? How do you deal with people who are actually buying things online compared to your brick and mortar?
So Amazon, you don't know what you're buying really. Amazon's not always cheaper. Amazon is, we have only quality stuff. We joined Ace hardware because Ace is a brand that has quality stuff. You're
saying there is a market, people want to still learn hands-on. I love it. Why do you come to a place like OGBA? It's interesting to me because you're not a service. You're a service-based business. You supply contractors at large.
Yes.
Have you found business from coming here in the past?
So I'm not good in advertisement really. I'm a very close friend with Meilech Weber. I don't from...
Meilech is the man. People don't recognize what Meilech does, right? People don't understand the work that goes into such a show. You come to here, my impression, tell me if you feel the same way, you walk in and it's like, what? Because everyone doesn't have how big it is. You think you're coming, you have your booth and 2-3 people and you walk in like this huge. I
know Meilech before he started this whole OJBA. He was still doing in the mountains a little bit together. We're very friendly and so I feel once a year at least I come out, my guys enjoy being over here.
Have you ever found business from people who come to you?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say yes, I wouldn't say no. So being here, if it's here, I gotta be here,
Right.
Because all our customers come by and
That's also big, showing your presence. Because I always tell my wife, I want to open up a pizza shop. You wanna know why? I don't give a pizza. I want to do the best customer service I can ever do and so you can make more money. So perhaps that's what you're saying. A guy walks into your store and he's like, hey, let me take care of you. That is the key to still making it in a...
But this is something we give more than we give advice. We know our stuff. My team is very educated in paint. Not really walking to a regular paint store. They know every problem, why the problem is.
I love that. That's a good piece of advice. Besides for buying a product, we're going to help you. That you never get online. Is that what you do? Someone comes, they want to fix a thing in the wall. You'll try to tell them how to do it and stuff?
Yes, I have people who will tell you what to do, how to do. If your toilet is leaking, we'll ask you what, and we'll tell you how to fix it.
I love it. Do you have any of your family work in the business?
My cousin's my main manager, and then my brother works for me part-time.
Your son also?
My son works for me, and another manager for me.
How do you do with the kid?
Look at him. I took an outside consultant to make sure that everybody's okay.
That's a great story. Tell me about that, because I always ask that child, you hired an outside consultant to do what?
To make sure that no one's stepping on no one's toes, like bringing my kids.
Meaning how to bring them in?
Yes.
So how did you do that? So what did you do?
So again, he made sure that no one feels stepped on and...
Like how you structure the agreement basically within the company?
Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.